Kaiser is him. If you don't believe that at this point, I think you're delusional. What's up, guys? That guy with a pencil here. Fun fact, I do mean to have it on me and keep it on me at all times. It ain't another fun fact. Come on, you know what time it is. It's peak every week, though. I see, once again, it's longer and longer this game. Like, honestly, I'm not sure. Because I feel like we're all around every week anyway. Like, we're still hanging on the edge of our seats. But I'm definitely wondering if the pacing of this match is going to have, like, an overall detriment to the retrospective view of the new Aegis League. Because it's the last game. It's the last game. Obviously, there still is the Bartra versus Manshine game. But, like, I presume we won't see that here. We probably won't see it in the main manga. The most we'll probably see is the end result of that, and then we're going to get more elaboration on that in the episode Nagi manga whenever that catches up. I think the episode Nagi manga is still on. It's not even reached third selection yet, and like presumably we're going to get some elaboration on some of the third selection games that Nagi participated in. So like, we really ain't going to catch up to the new Aegis League for like ever before we see anything of that game. That's probably going to be like 2 years, being generous with the pacing of the episode Nagi manga, before we get to see the Bartra versus Manshine game. So I do wonder, because people have been real complaining about the pacing, and I'll admit, apparently this is the longest game by a long shot. Like Bartra was actually pretty short, then Manshine was a bit longer. Then I think Ubers and Manshine are about the same length, and now PXG I believe is definitively the longest game. And I'll admit, the one thing I'll give the people who have like solid, hefty disgust with the pacing, it does feel like it is kind of the Rin show, but at the same time, a lot of, at least, unless you are a PXG truther, they seem to be getting lesser and lesser as the more time goes by, but unless you're a PXG truther, you know that despite how much Rin's evolving, at the end of the day, he's kind of just throwing the game. The game is 2-2. He's not going to win. Isagi has to score this final goal. Like, he has to be the strongest, he has to be the leader, he has to be the blue log hero. So, like, a lot of people are now seeing the end of this game without seeing the end of this game, if you know what I'm talking about. Like, and I remember, it feels like 10 chapters ago, people were saying, okay, we're at the end of a volume, the game has to end because Kaneshiro Sensei and the Moto Sensei always end a game on the end of a volume, right? Because that's how you sell it. You know, so you sell a good volume, you do some pacing like that. And with that being the case, people were saying that 10 chapters ago. Here we are 10 chapters later, and I believe the last goal was like in the early 80s. It was Rin's goal. I'm pretty sure. So we have been here for a while in this sort of neutral state, with the same character ultimately being the ultimate threat. Sure, Charles has existed, he hasn't really done much. Shido has existed, but just the ball like twice. Karasu has existed, but like he hasn't done much. And every single time we see Tokimitsu and Onase, they're kind of just there. So ultimately, PXG, despite being set up to be the strongest team outside of BM, which I do still agree with, I only think it is, since it's mainly just been the Rin show, like infinite omni-flow Rin, who's evolving and adapting to anything and everything, because, you know, the whole genius versus talented learner idea that basically grabbed this match by the throat and taken over it, it has felt a little bit something. So I think if Nomura Sensei and Kaneshiro Sensei want to keep going with this game, they are going to have to diversify their bonds a little bit. They're going to have to give Tokimitsu something to do. They're going to have to give Nanase something to do. They're going to have to give Zantetsu something to do. And I mean not something to do as in they touch the ball once or twice. I mean like they take over on defense, or they take over on extreme offense, and Rin just ends up being the supporting because he's so isolated, right? But then again, that's the thing, he has sort of shown off a more talented learner mindset as well now, with the whole idea of his two egos fusing, the puppeteer and the destroyer. So like, that's the thing, Rin kind of has everything. And Rin is our big bad main final boss, and he's the genius. But then again, PXG's composed to be, so I don't know. It is a strange thing. I'm still mostly fine. I'd say if the game doesn't end in, let's see, we're 291. If the game doesn't end before 300, which I think it has to. I think honestly the late, and now I'm saying this, but watch it go for like 20 more chapters. But I think the game ends at the latest 295. And then once again, it's being very generous. It could end 294, could end 293, could end in 2 chapters. But I think if we get to 300 and the game ain't over, now we're dragging it. Now, and you could argue we've been dragging it for a while. But I think, once again, like Ubers, for me personally, by the way, this is coming from a guy who was like, man, this Uber stuff is taking a minute. But on a reread, Ubers reads so much better. I think PXG is going to read a whole lot better on a reread. Where it feels forever. because we have breaks every other week, and Nomura is not always feeling well, and there are obviously the mandated breaks and stuff like that due to holidays. If we've been here for a while, but in the grand scheme of things, I think we're gonna appreciate this match a whole lot in retrospect, just considering how much it's already done. And even if just for our main trio of Rin, Isagi, and Kaiser, and I'll just talk about the other characters who've got some spotlight. But enough talk about the hypotheticals, the pacing. Let's hop right into chapter new 191. I swear I can English, y'all. I swear I can English. 291 fastest. What? Wow! What a desperate defense! Michael Kaiser has defended the goal with his acrobatic clearing kick, which is still absurd. Kaiser, buddy, pal, amigo, what are they feeding you? Gosh darn, the souls of the innocent? Because that is still very, very impressive. Though, you know what? I'll take it. I'll take Kaiser being at least physically relative to Flo Rin. He kind of has to be like Kaiser. I know he's still U20, but like he's the new Gen 111. Like he has to still be physically relative and relevant, even to a Flo Rin. And I'll definitely take that he was and managed to clear the ball in such spectacular fashion. My glorious, amazing, juicy, scrumdiddlyumptious, legendary, divine Emperor Kaiser is still cooking, and I always take that. Nay, I'm mainly happy Kaiser's getting moments because once again, I am so confident. I am like 99.99999999999999999% confident that after this match is over, we are not going to see Kaiser play for literal years, bro. And I'm being like, we're not going to see this man on the pitch. We're not going to see him with Isagi. We're not going to see him with anybody except for maybe Ness. But who knows? That's Isagi. We will not see this man for a solid millennium, bro, because he's going to leave the dude. He's over after this match, bro. No. Let's see. Defending against the goal with his acrobatic clearing kick. How fancy. Let's see. Mind read alone wasn't enough to beat Rin. What is surprising about that? What like Isagi? You been knew this, Kangaroony. That's the whole reason you tamed up. That's the whole reason you teamed up with guys in the first place. Your read alone was never enough to beat Rin. From the very first time you intercepted him after he scored on you, you admitted, hey, I needed Kaiser to come in and clutch up in this weak spot that I could identify but couldn't do anything about. So of course your read wasn't enough to beat Rin. Rin, at least right now, like here's the thing. Even as a person who wants to and is confident that he's going to score this final goal, become the hero of Blue Lock, become the number one, Rin is undeniably the pound for pound, compound, better overall player. Especially now that he's basically perfectly fused his talented learner tendencies with his genius tendencies, the willingness to destroy but at such a high and optimal level. Yeah, Isagi, I don't know, unless he unlocks something crazy, he's simply not going band for band, bar for bar, hand for hand with Rin. Rin is just an entirely different tier from Isagi right now in terms of overall player stats. So it is crazy to see Isagi be like, oh, wow, my read alone wasn't enough to beat him. Yes, Isagi. We've been known this. Heck, we saw it back at the beginning of this match. You're simply not built like that. Let's see. Next! Oh, you foolish Rose. Hey, you know what? I like that they immediately burst back into it. They're like, all right, cool. We stopped. I stopped the ball. Over Kaiser's like, stop the ball. Ball's still in play. Rin's like, he stopped my ball, but the ball's still in play. And they immediately go for it. Interesting. Looks like Rin has fallen out of flow, or at least slightly. Kaiser is bringing out abilities in him that I never anticipated.
Isagi Oichi, would you say that Kaiser is something of a genius?
Because what do geniuses do, right? They bring out plays and developments that haven't been seen before, using abilities that you never knew they had, new tech even. Oh, that sounds a little bit
Genius-like, Mr. Yoichi. So, like, do you mean to tell me that the fine line that you think exists between geniuses over here and talented learners over here isn't really a fine line, but actually
very fluid, very moist, very wiggly, if you will. That don't do. Ooh, that sounds wrong. Don't put that. Wiggly Kaiser. Think of Wiggly Kaiser. If I had to think of it, you had to think of it. But like, come on now, Isagi, I need you to wake up. He's not the only one who's a genius and talented learner. Rin's not the only one who's a genius, talented learner. You yourself are a genius, talented learner. So figure it out, Isagi. Let's see. Kaiser's bringing out abilities in him that I never anticipated. Wait, let's see. When I'm with Yoichi, I'm sorry. It hit so much for me because that's the thing. I really wish I'd been here from back in time. Like, really, the story of the New Aegis. Like, I wish I picked up Blue Lock just a little bit early, or a little bit earlier, and then start reviewing it a little bit earlier. Because, man, when I tell you the parlay, the only part of my parlay is missing. Ness, I need you to feel Isagi's magic. But, and I tell you, my parlay was on these two working together and developing respect for each other by the time of the final game after Isagi proved himself. You're in, and just genuinely, even if he's not saying out loud, when I'm with Yoichi, not the fool, not the clown, not the distraction, not the false, no, with Yoichi Isagi, just to get by his first day. Make me. But let me see. My foolish past, which I've always hated, feels strangely meaningful. I'm being affirmed. This is the first time I've ever felt this. So that's interesting. Once again, Isagi is such he's our main character, so naturally he's got to have these effects. But it's so interesting to see the kinds of drastic effects that Isagi brings out of people. Isagi specifically. As he says, when I'm with Yoichi. It doesn't say just because I'm on the pitch, just because I have my own revelation. Very specifically, Isagi Yoichi brought this out of him. He's like, I don't know, something about it. Isagi's existence, and it always works so well, right? Because ultimately, the biggest meme surrounding Isagi is that this man has two loving parents. He had a stable life growing up. He has as far as we know, unless something in the light novel was mentioned that I don't know, this man has literally zero trauma. But he still brings all this out of the most traumatized, crazed, and sad sacks in Blue Lock. And it's so organic, too. He, like, to some degree, he tries, I guess, to some point. But still, 9 out of 10 times, it's just accidental. It's just Isagi being Isagi, and these people are like, and then they go absolutely feral for Isagi. That's like a lot of the fan base goes absolutely feral for Isagi. Let's see. Yukimaya? All the Yukimaya truth? He is not scoring yet. He is not scoring. Oh, Yukimaya, you should have taken that Ajax deal when you had the chance, but I know you're not scoring. Let's see. Can you, Yukimaya? We just keep seeing new signs of Kaiser's playstyle. It was the same for me. That is true. Yeah, and ironically enough, so then again, the only person left would be Kuniga, me. Because for PXG versus BM, obviously it's Kaiser. I'm trying to think like the main players of each game relative to Isagi. So it'd obviously be Kaiser for PXG versus BM. Oh, look at Yukimaya hold off Charles, too. But then it would be... It would be Yukimaya for Manshine. And then it would be... Hello? Hiyori for Ubers. And then presumably Kunigami for Barcha. Those would be the main players that Isagi associated linked up with. So it's interesting. They are all realizing that ultimately, despite being completely different people with completely different playstyles and backgrounds, all tragic in their own way, it was the same for me. When I play with Isagi-kun, I realize I can't stay the way I am. Which is a very valuable lesson. And especially it works it works so well coming from Isagi specifically, or being born of Isagi specifically, because he is the adaptability demon. He's the guy who will change, destroy, annihilate, tear apart himself, all just to reconstruct it all and put it back together in a better sense in order to make sure that he can fight properly. And seeing that he's done the same thing just by his presence is fantastic. Now, of course, in Manshine, he definitely was more directly manipulative of Yukimaya, especially towards the end, where he was like, I'm gonna gate girl... That's a silly phrase to me. But I'm gonna girl boss gatekeep and gaslight you into playing directly into my hands. And of course, Yukimaya was gaslit, girl boss, and gate kept directly into Isagi's hands there. Meanwhile, actually, now I think about it, the only one who really wasn't like super girl boss, gate kept, and gaslit really was Kaiser, kind of, sort of. But even then, he low-key was. Even if it wasn't as verbal as it was with both Hiyori and Yukimaya, who were both like very specifically berated by and or directly spoken to by Isagi and see the world the same way he does. Both Kaiser and Yukimaya are like, we can do it. All because he was here. All because he was the one who showed us we can't be the way we are forever. And that is true. I personally am always in like the big camp of, you shade. Wait, hold on. I feel a tad bit of eepiness coming on you, boy. So, I'm going to move this to the side. I'm going to post up. And then, but the thing is, though, the audio quality got so much weirder. So I'll stand up here. We're gonna hit the dance real quick. Hold on. For anyone who hasn't seen the dance, I think I did it last below video, but wait. They don't love you like I can't even do it right. Like I don't know how they do it. Like they don't love you like I love you. Wait. They don't love you like I love you. Wait. They don't love you like I love you. Woo. All right. Wake up. All right. Let's see. When I play with Isagi-kun, I realize I can't stay the way. I'm so sorry. I know there's some people who just click on my videos and then like this is their first video ever, or even they like get used to a certain version and then they're like, what is this pencil man? What is wrong with it? Let's see. I have no choice but to change. And yeah, back to the moral lesson I was spouting. I mean, like, there are definitely people who are very comfortable in their way of life, and if you are happy that way, more power to you. Like, my best homie, my main roll dog, he hasn't changed in a while. And like, I've tried to get him to change and be like, hey, do you want to do this thing that is slightly out of your comfort zone? And like, sometimes he'll say yes. Most of the time he says no, because he's happy the way he is. And like, personally, I get that to a degree. Like, there are things that I do all the time that just make me happy, and I do it anyway. Technically, content creation is a thing that I've been doing for a while now, like upwards of 5 years, and I still do it because it makes me happy. But even then, I've tried to change how I do content creation. I've tried to evolve. I've tried to move in different ways, forms, statuses, and update myself. And consistently keep changing. Because ultimately, I feel like once you stop changing, you're not dead, but like you're stagnant. And notably, I don't like the idea of stagnancy, me, myself, and I. So I always try to do new things, go new places, meet new people, talk to new people, engage, and do all that. But there definitely are people who are happy, and if you are happy where you are, and especially if you are in a relatively good place, like, I'm not expecting any famous multi-millionaire actor to suddenly be like, yeah, I don't want to act anymore, I'm gonna go work at McDonald's or insert fast food chain. Like, no, obviously not. If you're in a fantastic place in your life, good. And for like people in health, like I forget who I was talking to, but I have a lot of friends who are super in shape. Like, I think I've gotten a bit better. Like peep the gains a little bit. Peep the game. Wait. Peep the gains a little. Ugh. Look at that. The forearms are literally the same size. That's the only thing that's embarrassing because I haven't gotten like the forearm exercise down. But like, I think I'm in half decent shape. But like, I have friends who have been in fantastic shape for like their life, and I'm like, yeah, you don't change anything you're doing. You're doing good. One friend of mine was like, maybe I think I should let more carbs into my diet. And as a person who let way too many carbs into his diet, I was like, no, wait. They will love you like they love you, and they will tell on you immediately. So like, there are obviously times where you don't want to change because you're already doing something good. But if you're not, and if you are in the case of like a Yuki Maya or a Kaiser, or even like Hiyori was in Ubers, I do think the idea of changing and molding yourself and adapting to your surroundings and doing better, even if it is because of yourself or because of your own internal motivation, I think that's a good thing. I think change is almost always good unless it's negative. In that case, don't do it. But let's see. I have no choice but to change. And when I face my past self and the ego I left behind, it makes me want to find it again. Those of us who stand on the field with Yoichi Isagi know this privilege and cruelty. Anyone who can't become new here. Wah! You're so washed. You're so what? Tokimitsu, I hope you don't make it to the top 23, bro. This is gonna be the craziest take I've ever dropped. I know the 3 Igaguri fans in my comments are gonna be like, oh, Pencilman said it. I would prefer 10 Igaguris on the one. Okay, that's a lie. I would prefer Igaguri make it over Tokimitsu, bro. If we have to kick Tokimitsu out of the top 23 in order to get Igaguri in there, I'm not even sure Tokimitsu is in the top 23. He's so garbage. He is so trash. He is so booty meat and actively infuriates me. The way Igaguri used to actively infuriate me is how Tokimitsu now actively infuriates me. Because, dog, you are trash. Dog, you are a butt. Dog, you're a booty chick. You are booty chicks on every single level. You've been hitting the guzz. You grabbed Noah. You set up for you nearly, literally allowed your whole team to take the immediate L from Kaiser when you grabbed Noah. You've been hitting the gun every other chapter. You are literally field dressing. You are here very specifically to take up space. You are no better than Mensa and Birkenstock. Mensa and Birkenstock. Tokimitsu used to be number 3 in Blow Lock.
You used to be a threat. People used to fear you, buddy. And now you're trash. You're literally getting monologued over and dashed by. This man's out here glazing another man, and there's nothing you can do about it. So you're trash. You're trash. You're trash. Get off the field. Sweet mother of mercy, dog. I don't reach into this manga and smack you, bro. Let's see. That is interesting. Makes you want to find it. And when I face my past self and the you I left behind, it makes you want to find it again. Finding your own individuality. Once again, I'm also admittedly, this is even before Blue Lock. I've always been a big be your own kind of person. I mean, I know there's some people who are happier following the ways and mentalities and thoughts of other people. And hey, I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm Mr. Rich. My whole mentality, my morals, my ethics, my thought, I ripped them straight from my parents. I'm them. I was raised in that environment, and I 100% believe humans are always naturally affected by the environment that they are raised in. You can take the exact same person. You can literally take identical twins, raise them in two different households, and they will turn into completely different people. Even if the households have the same raising metrics, literally just being in different places at different times will change exactly how a person will develop. So I'm not saying fully on that, but in terms of being yourself, identifying yourself, and standing out on your own, yeah, I 100% believe that's the way. That's the one thing I do really, really like about Blue Lock. It also supports that philosophy. You want to be yourself. What that means can vary. And notably, there are toxic and negative ways of being and embracing yourself. You want to be confident, you don't want to be arrogant. You want to be willing to accept knowledge, and you want to be smart. Typically, that's kind of the same thing. So overall, you do want that balance. Let's see, what did he say? Will disappear? Anyone who can't become new here will disappear. Zantetsu, I'm worried about you, bro. You better cook, please. Zantetsu, please. Tokimitsu, how are you so fodder that Nanase of all characters, I know he's ambidextrous, but Nanase of all characters is the coming cover for you, dog. I'm being tested. Here comes the sinking ship. He's taking that way too hard. Sugurugeto, is that you in the word manga? You got called a sinking ship like twice, dog, and you just like I don't know. I give credit to Shigiri for fully embracing the the princess and pantheress like moniker. He took what was clearly a term of like some mocking endearment and made it his own. Baro, he glazed himself into existence just calling himself the king. Nagi, he's kind of still a lazy genius. Like these titles, they at least have like some sort of presence, some sort of aura to them. They inspire certain things. If I hear somebody call themselves a sinking ship on live TV, man, I ain't rooting for that guy. But let me see. Here comes the sinking ship. I won't disappear. Yep, and see, look at that. And that goes to show Yukimaya's development. Kaiser's development obviously comes by working with Isagi alone. Yukimaya's development comes from the fact that he's willing to pass and not just charge on the field himself, and his desperation and his madness. And here we are to Hiyori, another character who's been heavily... That's his chapter, isn't it? We aren't working backwards, though, because we went from Kaiser to Yukimaya to Hiyori. So if we were following, like, an inverse game structure, it would have been Kaiser to Hiyori to Yukimaya. So interesting. It looks like this chapter is... Does this guy mean the entire chapter, though? Just them reviewing it? Let's see. I won't disappear. Hiyori? The clean left leg trap, I see you. That's right, Yuki. We're egoists who died once, and were revived by Isagi. Okay. Now, I know y'all are gonna be like, pencil! Ain't that isn't this hypocrisy supreme? Yes, it is. Allow me to say this. Hop off that man's meat. Hop off it. Hop off. And I know y'all are gonna be like, wait a second. Don't you call him the glorious, amazing, legendary, juicy, scrumbly, yumptious hero king of Blue Lock? And yes, I do. But to say that we're egotists who died once and were revived by Isagi, that's crazy. That is crazy. You're telling me you're telling me you're letting another man who's not your father say he gave you life? Y'all admitting that, even if internally, like that's crazy. That's a little bit crazy. I'm all for glazing your homies, especially your homies that have helped you out. I've had multiple homies throughout my lifespan who have helped me get through some rough times. And you know what? Never mind. No, I may glaze them. I guess it's because the thing that's hard to click with me is like they've known Isagi for a total of a few months, if that. Like I forget how long the Blue Lock story's been going on. We've been here for nearly 300 chapters, but I don't think it's been like more than 6 months in universe, like at all. Like it has really not been that long.
But then again, they went through really hard trials together, and ultimately they're proving themselves on the world stage. So like that's the thing. I got to think of it on like a macro sense. So maybe stay on tip, because ultimately it does make sense. For like literally, Isagi did help with their genuine rebirths and allow them to not fade into obscurity, like Tokimitsu should. Tokimitsu, you're trash. And we're revived by Isagi-kun, but Isagi-kun doesn't want us to pay him back by playing buddy-buddy. I mean, he kind of like if you subordinated yourself to him. It wouldn't hurt. But let's see. I can have expectations for myself and be newly reborn over and over again. Oh, and that's another thing I like. I really like about Blue Lock. It lives by a philosophy of me that I follow personally as well. If you change and that change don't work, that doesn't mean you just give up. Change again. Review yourself. See what wasn't working before and then try to work that in. Or vice versa. See what didn't work before and try to work that out. Like, do anything and everything. Because a lot of the times you'll fumble on the first one. I can't tell you how many times I personally have fumbled. Many different bags of many different varieties. Whether it be financial bags, whether it be interpersonal bags, whether it be my own bag. Like, legit. I've actually straight up dropped bags before. Like, carrying multiple groceries in. Like I dropped them. So, ultimately, it is a true thing where, like, always don't just change once and think that change is perfect unless it once again, like I mentioned earlier, if you change and it just works out the first time, more power to you. I've seen it before. I've even had some changes where it's like I just did it once and now I know how to do it, and now I'm like, oh, okay, so I'm good. Like I do get that. So if the change is working and it's working well, then do it. But if a change doesn't work immediately, yeah, do it again and then again and then again and then again. That's the beauty of life. Like, you, as long as you're still alive, you can keep changing. So I do agree with that wholeheartedly. Let's see. Over and over again, I'm here because Isagi, okay. We're not being the BL allegations, bro. We're not being the boy love allegations, bro. Oh, we're not beating them. You know what? The second Nagin Ray were introduced, we really weren't beating them. But like, it's getting heavier and heavier. We're never beating the allegations, bro. I like, you know what? The best thing is, though, Rin has unironically been saving Blue Lock from the BL allegations. Mainly because every single time I see a meme about Blue Lock from people outside the community, they'll just pull up like a Rin panel. Not even the Shido panels, but like the Rin panels now of him like mutating and evolving and be like, what is Blue Lock even about? I could have sworn this was about soccer. And there'll be Rin's like 98th panel of him screaming about dying or like evolving into like a massive mutation. I saw people freaking out over like the hand-eye panel. So ultimately, people are distracted by something bigger. So, thank you, Rin. You're saving us from the allegations, if only by sheer distraction. Let's see. I'm here because Itagi? What? The Itachi and Isagi fusion? I'm here because Isagi Yoichi taught me that. Isagi-kun is the nucleus of this team, but nobody's fighting for his sake. Actually, that's true. I mean, to a degree. No, but I'd say that's true. Because ultimately, and that is the beauty of Isagi, right? Ultimately, from like a main character perspective. I reacted to the Wisest video, Isagi Yoichi the Devourer, and I talked about it a lot there. The reason Isagi works so, and he mentioned it too, the reason Isagi works so well as a main character is that he can have these very heavy, very thick, very juicy, very what kind of path is that going down? I'm not being the BL, but he can go down this like very specific. He can have all these thick, healthy, juicy relationships with all these characters, but ultimately the characters don't have to rely on him in order to succeed or to function properly. He will naturally be the focal point a lot, but they don't need him specifically. And in fact, 9 out of 10 times, he needs them. That's one of the main reasons I like Isagi so much as a main character in comparison to a lot of overpowered MCs, because Isagi isn't overpowered. He needs to crunch hard on his fellow teammates, whether that be Hiyori and Ubers, or Yukimaya and Manshine, or even Kunigami and Barcha, and Kaiser now in PXG. Without Kaiser, Isagi would not have gotten very far in this game. Rin would have beat the brakes off that boy many a times over. Same with the rest of Isagi's team. Ultimately, since none of them are like wholehearted, dedicated to him, but are still thankful to him for what he did for them in those moments, it allows this beautiful way where they're dependent yet independent. And that allows for this chaotic team synergy where ultimately, Isagi is the man of the match. He's the center of the field. He's the nucleus of the world, essentially. But like a nucleus, he's just in the center, doing his own thing. Meanwhile, every other part of the cell is still active and moving in its own way, shape, and or form, and Isagi simply needs to respond and react to that. So overall, shit. And once again, I can't wait to see Isagi's nucleus-like role evolve beyond BM. I cannot wait for the U20 World Cup arc where we have everyone together, where Baro starts to work around Isagi, where Nagi starts to work around Isagi, where Reo starts to work around Isagi, where all these characters who already have their connections to him, Bachira, Chikiri, Aiku, Nico, where all these different pieces that were once separated and dissonant begin to flow and work together all around Isagi in order to possibly win the U20 World Cup. We'll see. Well, let's see. All of us are fighting as if we were the protagonist here. Good phrasing, as if you were, because Isagi is the protagonist. But yeah, that's the thing. Thanks to all of their own individual beliefs, their egos, their own protagonism, they're able to do things individually and together that they wouldn't be able to do if they didn't have that solid self-focus that they do. Let's see. He draws out our egos. That's Isagi. I'm telling. Oh. Okay, that was just my headphone. I thought something way bigger fell. But I'm telling you. My parlay has to hit, y'all. My parlay has to hit. I know. As I was saying. Totally normal. Don't worry. Everything's still working. Hopefully. It looks like it's still working. I hope it's still working. Well, we'll see in the editing phase. But I'm telling y'all, my parlay has to hit. It has to hit. That's Yoichi Isagi's true magic. His true magic. Who else is a character who was hyped at the start of this game before it even started to be interested in the magic of other people? Ness the Magician. I know. Kanashiro Sensei would happen later. But not only does that not make any sense narratively, at least dropping Ness backstory on us narratively, that doesn't make sense if we're not going to cover that now. And we're not going to see Ness forever. Doesn't mean we're going to see Kaiser forever. I think it is just a case where Kanashiro Sensei lied. They lied. Like I said, I saw the interview. They said that Kaiser and Isagi were never going to work together. What have we been having for the past 7 chapters? I don't know. I know y'all want to take Kanashiro's word at face value, but he is also a writer who do be writing manga. I think he lied. And my parlay has to hit. Because if that's Isagi Yoichi's true magic, and the reason behind this team's strength, Ness has to feed into that last goal. I'm telling you, my parlay, I need it. Please, Kanashiro Sensei, don't do me wrong. If I got that right, on top of getting Kaiser and Isagi working together right, the 4-game narrative arc, and Isagi scoring the final goal, and BM winning over PXG, and Isagi becoming the number 1 hero of when I tell you I will be that guy for 5 seconds, because I think it was a pretty obvious narrative route I saw. But still, let's see. This is that team's strength. Uh-oh, Isagi himself? You mean what? Everyone else is glazing Isagi, and Isagi's like, I can't read a genius's awakening. I'm cooked. I'm washed. I can't read him. I can't read a genius's awakening. But earlier, Kaiser matched Rin's awakening and used his own specs to the fullest to respond faster than anyone else. Ah, the fastest? That's what the chapter's called. In other words, the most important thing for a talented learner is awareness that's faster than anyone else. That's true. That's where the whole concept of reflex comes in, which was set up ironically enough with Yori all the way back in 3rd selection. Let's see. I don't have the crazy sensitivity of a genius, which is ironic because you actually do. Funnily enough, that is your innate genius talent, Isagi. The insane sensitivity and perception, that's your whole thing, buddy. Sorry to break it to you, pal, but that's you. That's you, Buckaroo. Let's see. But I can understand intellectually what the world wants. So find it. The awakenings and the errors happening on the field. That will lead to a lucky outcome for this match. Ooh, we're bringing it all back to luck. Oh, he's cooking. Let's see. If I can make... Oh, no. See, that's the only thing that sucks about reviewing the way I review. I miss these glorious, amazing, juicy spreads. Why does this Loki remind me of Chigiri's panel? Let's see. I can make a design faster than anyone. Then that attack will seize the world's attention and become part of my originality. Yes, Isagi. Enter Master Ultra Instinct once again. Though admittedly, I don't know, gang. I don't know. Unless, are we ending it? Are we ending it here now? Come on, Isagi. Come on, let's see. Become part of my originality. Uh-oh, Hiyori. Time for a super sadistic Hiyori, you're not that guy. Hiyori, you're not. Hiyori, I love you, dog. But Sei's gonna come in and immediately creep you, dog. The way Sei's been getting nearly hyped out, I think he's broken. Probably still. So like, he's probably gonna come give you backshots, Hiyori, in terms of like actual midfield utility. You're probably gonna be a swap. You're gonna be a sub, bro. Time for a super sadist past. Isagi-kun or Kaiser. No, either one's fine. Yes, that's what I like to see. That's what I love to see. Show me you can keep up with my dream of the world's best pass. So they're gonna have to move by reflex. Let's. Oh, somebody sure is getting fired up. Wanna go, idiot Hiyori? Ooh. I'll give it to Karasu. That man, he's been cooking. He's got to make the top 23. He's got to get pretty highly rated. I want him to be like 15 or something. He's been cooking. So he's at the unlocked Metavision. I still can't get over the fact that Charles faced thing to Kaiser Impact, though. That's absurd. So a point blank one, too. Let's see. Karasu! We're going to get the wrap up of this? Okay, we may be ending. I mean, unless... No, because this has to fail. For my parlay. for my next parlay, this has to fail. Showing up now. You're in my way. Never thought the day'd come when we'd face off on a stage like this. That is true. Man, I'm one of the more underrated rivalries, because it just doesn't get that much screen time. So honestly, I'm happy we're going to see it here. Can't wait to see these two work together again, too. That's going to be fun to see once the U20 World Cup arc starts. He got me excited about my own ego. So that's a weird mix of Southern and Australian. That's the only place where you can start, you idiot. Ordinary or extraordinary. Oh, that hits for Karasu's character, too. If I don't surpass Karasu, a new egotist can't be born. Show me, you blockhead. Ah, they're going band for band, bar for bar. That's just what I like to see. Okay, Yori, break past him. Shatter his ankles. I. Oh. Okay, is that the end? That's the end of the chapter. Huh. Alright. Ness. Wait a minute, we're ending on Ness, though? We were talking about magic. We were glazing Isagi the entire chapter. Isagi's about to figure out the perfect design. Isagi and Kaiser right next to each other. My parlay. I'm going to be careful when I stand up. I edited the part out, or at least I'm assuming editing is going to edit that part out, so y'all ears don't explode. But I did drop the mic when I stood up last. I'm going to stand up very gingerly. My parlay. It has to hit. It must hit. Somehow, Ness is going to be responsible for this final goal. He's going to get that. I'm telling you, we got Ness a backstory. We ended off Ubers talking about Isagi's magic. This game with Hiyori just brought up Isagi's magic again, which is also a callback to Ubers. We had Isagi himself determining to figure out the fastest, quickest, and cleanest design. We have Ness being a ghost factor on the field, and we know Isagi always takes advantage of the ghost factors. We have Kaiser having abandoned Ness completely. We have the original purpose of this arc, even if Kaiser and Isagi started working together. Remember how this arc started? It was very specifically Isagi making the promise to Kaiser that he would steal literally everything from him, and Ness is the last piece, because every other piece that Kaiser used to have on BM is taken off the field, except for those whack two bum behind defenders, Mensa and Birkenstock. I'm telling you, my parlay has to hit. But that aside, a very Yap heavy chapter and a very Isagi Glaze heavy chapter. But oh, I wonder what the top tier Isagi Glazer has to say about the Isagi Glaze chapter. That was so pathetic, but yeah, of course. Peak log is peak every week for a reason, ladies and gentlemen. But if you made it all the way to the end of this chunker of a video, please do me a favor and leave true magic. Leave true magic in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Do remember to leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe. And make sure you hit that little notification bell so you don't miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, you're going to have a Patreon down below where you can support me for as low as $1 month. Things like exclusive videos, early content, and more. You also now become a member of the channel for as low as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. So those perks will include the live reactions to whatever the series happen to review, and free variations of all my videos. And if you become a $25 patron or a $25 member, you can order whatever video you want. Also do have a link to my Ko-Fi in the description down below. You can drop 5 beans for a short video, 20 beans for a long video, or any beans at all. Any support is always greatly appreciated. Now, I'd like to thank you so much for watching once again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is That Got a Pencil, writing off. I'd like to give a thank you to our sketch tier members: Greyhound, Eternal Flame, Red Wolf 4765, Astro, Super Flame Zero, Glacier, XZ, G Prosper, Planet Crone, Zeta, and Brandon Payne. Then I'd like to give a little thank you to our line art tier patrons, Sean, Midnight Lord 21, Kevin, Encarnacion, and A+A. And then I'd like to give a huge thank you to our Ink tier members, Fine, Austin Wimberly, Euchiha, Yuki Ally, and Carlo Alaimo. Then I'd like to give a gargantuan thank you to our digital art tier members, J Warrior and AZ Void. Then I'd like to give another gargantuan thank you to our colored art tier patrons, Overlord Zero, Waki Minos, and iDemokami. Then I'd like to give a final legendary top-of-the-line thank you to our That Guy with a Pencil tier patron, the glorious king, Calvin Elder.